Welcome to the Maple and Mangu show. I am Rafael, your host. This is the pilot episode. This is a project that I had in mind for a very long time and I wanted to execute. Yes, bear with me. We're trying to figure out the technology here. But the most important thing here is hopefully you will hear something in this podcast that perhaps will inspire you, that perhaps will give you, a second perspective to perhaps something you're going through right now, and you don't know if it's worth it or not. The purpose of this podcast, I wanted to share my life experiences. My name is Rafael Rodriguez. I am from the Dominican Republic originally. I've been in Canada for over 20 years now. My background, I studied in the tech industry. I studied in music production, but most of my professional working life was in the kitchen. I worked in the kitchen for over 15 years, and after 15 years came a time when I found I wanted to change things. I wanted to build something that was for me and my family. Imagine 15 years later working for the same ownership. I have helped them open about 8 restaurants, which were not mine. And the first thing is that you should take from here is that if you do not work on building your own dreams, somebody will recruit you to build theirs for them. Not that there is nothing wrong with that, but if you want more out of life, I strongly urge you that find a way so you can build something that is yours. And for me, it was something major that happened in 2012. I am a strong believer that the one thing can help somebody move from the existing situation, from the existing comfort zone, is a major challenge. I'm a believer in God, and I know that God gives you challenges just to make you move from where you are. Even if you want to look at this from a scientific perspective, Isaac Newton's laws, they say an object will stay at rest unless acted upon by an external force, right? A greater external force, I should say for that. And for me, the greater external force was actually seeing that my sister, she got diagnosed with cancer and she passed away a year later. I was part of the whole struggle that year with chemotherapy and all of that. And if you never had a family member go through that, close one, and you were part of the process, I don't wish that upon you. But for myself, it was a catalyst to help me grow as a person, because at the end of that, I saw that my sister, she ended up passing away very young, before age of 40. She had 2 beautiful kids, and what I saw was a human that came here to planet Earth to work, pay bills, and then basically pass away. Didn't really get to enjoy her life. She had projects in her life. She had real estate projects, and she had things that she wanted to do, and she never did any of them. Many reasons, obviously. She had, a very busy life, raising 2 kids and as a single mother, and we do that. Sometimes we say, I'm going to do this now, and eventually I get to where I want to be. Eventually I get to do I want to do. Eventually I get to do what I want. And I live in the capital of Canada, Ottawa. If you're in Canada, the difference between Ottawa and Toronto is about 500 kilometers or so. And sometimes we think, well, I'm driving from Ottawa to Toronto. When I arrive to Toronto, I'm going to reach my destination, and then I'm going to be happy. That could be retirement for you. Let's say I'm going to work 40 years, and then after retirement, I get to enjoy life. I get to travel. I get to do my art. I get to write a book. I get to do the things that I really love, the things that give me passion and fill my soul. But the thing is, we do not know how much time we have on that clock left. We do not know how much time we have in the clock left, and that was a case with my sister, and that opened up my eyes, and I said, you gotta do things that are meaningful to me. At that point, I had my first son was born, and just 1 year after, my sister passed. And it's crazy how one life ends and another one comes to be. One ends and another one comes to be. The cycle of life, right? And that gave me purpose. I have 2 kids now. They are 9 and 11 years old. Marcos is 9 and Rafael is 11. And I can tell you that Marcos the other day was asking me. He was a bit, emotional, and he was feeling, "Papi, it makes me sad sometimes. I don't know the meaning of life. What's the purpose of life?" And I jokingly, told him, "Hey, buddy, buckle up, buckle up, because it took me over 30 years for me to find the meaning. And for me, the meaning was them, being a dad." And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a full-time dad, raise them. I was basically just paying for a daycare lady to raise my kids, because I wasn't making that much money in the kitchen. And I found an opportunity to be an entrepreneur and make enough money to work part-time and stay with them at home. And I did that for about 7 years. And for me, that was the catalyst. That was, from what I saw, what happened, with my sister, to say I gotta change something. I've done different businesses. My actual business is in finance. I have a financial brokerage, and I have some advisors helping clients with insurance, investments, and other things. But my purpose is my kids. My purpose is that I know if I give my boys a good example, they will actually make the world a better place. I don't believe you can fix an entire country by changing the government alone. I believe that you have the power to change your world through your kids. And it comes to my mind that you probably heard this story before. There's a gentleman walking right by the ocean, and by the shore like this, there is a bunch of starfish. It's a lot of starfish, like thousands of them there. And there is a gentleman just grabbing them one at a time and throwing them into the ocean. This kid comes and say, "Hey, why are you doing that? You're not making a difference. There are thousands of them." And then the gentleman bends over, grabs another one, and throws it back into the ocean. And he says, "Well, I made a difference for that one. I made a difference for that one." And that's a way that I look at the world. I cannot change what happens in my neighbor's house, but I can change what happens in mine. I can change how my kids will behave, how they treat their wives, how they will, how serious they are in their life and their career, if they're honest men and integrity. The only thing I can control is giving a good example. And I have ever seen over a decade from now, over a decade ago, I've been involved in what it is, growing myself, going to seminars, traveling, learning from people that have built businesses, watching families that, are amazing. They have great relationships. Watching couples, they have great relationships, and I learn from everybody. Everybody has something to teach me. And so the purpose of this podcast is that, to share some of my fails, actually a lot of fails I had in my life, And it's interesting, right? Sometimes we think sometimes we watch in social media, especially, people with a highlight reel, and it looks like everything is great in their life. And they're always in a trip, they're always on a boat, they're always having a good time, they're always eating their fancy meal. But at the end of the day, that's just a highlight reel. Typically it goes, you lose, right? And then eventually you win, right? But guess what? All that losing streak that we call losing is actually building blocks for that win at the end. Even Michael Jordan, if you see, he didn't win every tournament he ever played in. He won a bunch, but he didn't win all of them. Does that make him a loser? Absolutely not. It is all part of the process, right? So, again, this is the podcast, Maple and Mangu. I should give you a bit of a background why the name Maple and Mangu. Well, maple, if you're Canadian, you know what that means, right? Maple, that's our thing. It's in our flag, which is awesome. I am Dominican, so I come from the Dominican Republic. Mangu is a plantain type of dish that's very popular over there. Some places they call it mofongo, and for Mangu, that's what it is. And why Mangu? Because what also Mangu signifies. Mangu signifies what happens in life. That mush of things that happens, that we think is just gonna be happiness, you know what I mean? Or we expect it's all gonna be bad, but life is like this. It's all mixed together. Like things happen, they all come at one shot. And that is what is called living. Embrace those things. And I hope that you believe that there is a better world ahead of you. I hope that you believe that there is opportunities. I hope that you believe that there is another level in your life. And this podcast can definitely help you with that. Let's go.